This is Behind the Mic with Brad Dalius.
Welcome on inside, Behind the Mic here on KABC Radio. Brad Dalius and Keith Jackson coming to you on this Thanksgiving night. At this point, we hope you're diving into your maybe second helping of pumpkin pie, maybe some extra leftover turkey at this point. Keith, I do it all. I have, the main course. It's like everybody, leftovers. It's the best time of year for leftovers, clearly.
Yeah.
And pumpkin pie is my weakness. I mean, that's my go-to later on in the night, especially when the football is going on and everything else. So, you really can't beat this holiday. It's the best.
It's the greatest, man. Dessert. I know I had the monkey bread. I usually traditionally do a rum cake, a chocolate rum cake. But today I had to pass that on to the social media guy, Chris, over here.
Well, that's right. In the Jackson household,
it's a lot of dishes, man.
A lot of dishes, right?
A lot of dishes. We got, some corn pudding, we have some sweet potato pie, monkey bread is what I brought over. We got some some string beans, stuffing, turkey. I mean, you name it, we got it. And we're gonna eat and eat and eat. It's potluck for us. The mac and cheese is great. My sister makes some great mac and cheese, I might add. So,
I heard you told me about that off the air recently.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's awesome. So, since we're done airing, I'm going to go back and get some more food. So, that's how it is. And like you said, some great games came on today. So, it's a good time, man. It's a good time.
No question about it. It's great to have you aboard tonight. We've got a great show for you. Like I said, kind of kick back here, the final hour of this day, 11 to 12, of course, here on KABC Radio. We're going to be joined just in a little bit by Mr. Andre Berto, of course, the champ. Going to weigh in on everything that's happening with his career right now, both in and outside of the ring. Also, a little later on, we'll get into that Tiger Woods versus Phil Mickelson, the match that's happening tomorrow at Shadow Creek over there in Las Vegas. Fascinating, of course, on pay-per-view. Luke Norris, fansided.com, going to join us. We're going to break it down in just a little bit as well, so definitely stay tuned for that. And, this is probably the most sports we've had around the Thanksgiving time in a while here because of this big golf match that's coming up. And you know what? To be honest, there hasn't been a whole lot of chatter about it this week. There's been a little bit. But for these two type players, the magnitude of a Tiger and a Phil, I would think there would be a little bit more. But the biggest problem is probably the fact that it's not on general TV. You have to pay for it.
Exactly. And then on top of that, Phil Mickelson he hasn't been playing that well this past year. We really haven't heard too much. Tiger has kind of catapulted right now. He's played well. He's won a tournament, and then he's been placing. So he's back to where he needs to be. And then you have Phil Mickelson, who's kind of like falling off. But, this is more of a historic type of battle right here that's going on. And so I think that's why another thing that people are like, oh, okay, Tiger's probably going to blow him out. I love the talk.
I don't think so. I think this is going to be very close, very competitive.
I love the how they get in each other's head. I saw something that Phil Mickelson had on TV, and it was about he had Tony Romo. It was a one tournament they had against each other, and he had Tony Romo as his. Tony Romo was, I believe, Tiger Woods' caddy at the time, and so Phil Mickelson and Tony Romo went out to dinner one night, and Tiger didn't get a chance. He couldn't go. And so I think he wasn't invited or something like that. And so Phil said, I knew how to get into Tiger's head. So Tony had said before we got on the course, please don't mention that we went out last night. And he said, okay. So then what Phil did was, as they were walking away, he made sure that Tony was closer to Tiger. And he said, hey, Tony, that last night was fantastic, man. It was great dinner and everything. And Tony just looked up at him and was like kind of surprised, like, no. And Tiger looked up and he kind of just like had like a mean stare, and he kind of turned around and did his thing. But he said, I knew that would get in Tiger's head and throw him off his golf game. So I love the mind games that they play with each other. going into the matches, and they're telling how they go into matches. So I'm pretty sure there's some mind games that Phil's going to play with Tiger to kind of get him off his game.
That's a great story about Tony Romo. And by the way, if Tony Romo was calling golf like he does NFL games, we would be knowing all the ins and outs and basically foreseeing the future as he does all the time with all these plays ahead of time. And and Tony's a pretty good golfer too, from what we've seen.
I heard
he played
was.
in like a PGA Tour event last year.
Yeah,
maybe one or two events. Yeah,
he's good. You know, some other athletes out there. I heard Aaron Rodgers is good. You got Steph Curry, who's really good.
Yeah,
you know, our former president Barack Obama is pretty good. I heard, and you know, we got a lot of guys, athletes out there that really can hit it. Penny Hardaway can play. Ron Harper is really good too as well. He goes out there all the time on the course and plays. Every time I end up calling Ron, he's like, "Oh, I'm on the course." I'm like, "Man, do you stay on the course?"
If he's playing that much, he's got to try out professionally.
Michael Jordan, he's a pretty good golfer. Who's horrendous though is Mr. Charles Barkley.
There's no denying that. That's real simple. We all know that.
Has Shaq ever been on the golf course before?
That's a great question. Can he actually get golf clubs that are his size?
I know.
You know, I don't even know if they can size him correctly. You got to get some custom-made ones from halfway around the world or something, I think.
I would love to see Shaq and Yao Ming battle it out on the golf course. I wonder what that score would be like.
That'd be
handicap.
Interesting. That'd be interesting.
Ooh, that would be an all day. They couldn't. I don't think they could play an 18th hole. I think they have to play a 9 because it'll be all day.
It would be all day. It'd be crazy. Talk about prop bets on that one. By the way, we're going to get into the prop bets here with Luke coming up with the match itself for Tiger versus Phil, because there's a whole bunch of them, Keith, including how many times will the word LeBron be mentioned during their conversation. So, you know, just about everything you can think of here from A to Z. So we'll get into that in a bit with Luke Norris from Fansided.com. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I was when the word came out back. I think it was late in the summer they announced it. And I think it's great. I think sometimes, look, if you're not into the whole Black Friday shopping and you're looking for something to do and watch, you've got some college football. But I'm thinking more people are actually going to be in tune to this than college football on Friday.
Yeah.
So you got just another option on your slate.
It's definitely another option. I'm definitely in tune to it. You know, I don't need to shop. However, Black Friday, you can get your Christmas gifts early. You know, it's funny. Black Friday comes up. I never go out on Black Friday to get my Christmas. I always wait until like the 23rd to get my Christmas gifts.
Yeah. I'm not quite that bad, but I'm bad. I'm in that neighborhood. I'm in that ballpark. Yeah.
I'm bad.
But I'll tell you about Black Friday. You're right. I've been more inclined within the last like 2-3 years to start going out a little bit. Just you know what I mean?
Just experience it?
Yeah, just to kind of experience it a little bit. And
I mean, it depends on what you want.
If you twist my arm, Keith,
if
you twist my arm, it's eventually you're going to be able to get me to come on out.
I'm sorry. To this Friday, Keith will be watching Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods. That's exactly who I'm going to be watching. I'm not going to spend money. I'm going to eat leftovers. It's great.
That's what you got to do.
Great time. Leftovers. You know, leftovers is like the best. Like that is the best.
It's the best day of the year to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not a big leftovers person most of the time.
But leftovers for Thanksgiving?
That's the best.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the only time. Only one day, though. I can't go deep into like Saturday and Sunday. Not me.
Maybe Saturday. Saturday's borderline for me. Sunday, no. I flipped the script to the next, the next week. I've turned the page. I can't do Sunday.
You know what else? Just to add real fast, what came out today, and I need to go see it, Creed 2. Michael B. Jordan.
And I'm thinking we might talk about that coming up with Andre Berto here in just a second.
We definitely got to throw something out there about
for sure.
that.
Yeah, I mean, just phenomenal. I didn't get a chance to read the article, but I saw the headline talking about how he got into shape for that movie, because I mean he was ripped in Creed 1, but obviously he took it to a whole new level in Creed 2. And I'm looking forward to seeing it as well. It looks great. Obviously, it's funny to kind of see Sylvester Stallone now, how he transitioned from the boxer to almost like the coach, essentially now the trainer.
Yeah.
So it's funny to see that as well. And yeah, that's going to be great. That's going to be really good to see that, see how that one turns out here with the movies. A lot of people also like to go to the movies as well.
Oh, yeah.
On Black Friday. Another option.
I tried my best, Brad, but I went to go play some basketball in the morning, man. I had to get my exercise in before I went out there and just threw down that food. So
man, props to you. That's great, Keith.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving, that really is.
I'm very serious about my healthy lifestyle.
I know. That's good. That's good. You cannot beat that. You cannot be on more on top of it than that itself, working out on Thanksgiving earlier in the day. The theme for tonight's show is going to be what am I thankful for in sports this year. And the first thing that actually comes to mind is what we saw just a couple of days ago on Monday Night Football with the Rams taking on the Chiefs.
What an awesome
and being
game.
treated to that 54-51 offensive onslaught. That was great. That was one of the best Monday Night Football games ever.
Yes.
And there's been, just within the last couple of months, there's been some great moments itself in the sports where we've seen that throughout a whole bunch of different sports, actually.
Tiger Woods winning, his
that was
PGA
great.
championship. That's one. You know what else I'm thankful for? And this is just something that's new as recently, is the Duke Blue Devils. Man, what an excitement time to watch them. Zion, JT Barrett, and the other players that they have on that team. I really don't think they're going to lose a game, man. I really don't.
They look unstoppable right now. Now, granted, we've seen teams get off to a hard start in November at the beginning of the season, and they cool off a bit. But right now, they look incredible. We've talked about it before. Krzyzewski, the guy is basically just recruiting his butt off at this point, and it shows. It's paying dividends. They easily could have made it last year. They were inches away from getting to the Elite Eight, the Final Four. So, look, they're a team who's right on the doorstep of being really a perennial contender for a Final Four championship.
Absolutely. And one other, we know UCLA fans, we know what they're thankful for. They beat USC this year, so they have the bragging rights in the city right now for
Chip Kelly. He is the toast
bell
right now in Westwood.
He sure is.
He is the toast of that town at the moment. There's no doubt. We knew that, too. We knew it because that's their bowl game. They're not going to a bowl, obviously, this year. But for them to get that victory, that was huge. That obviously made the entire season, no question about it.
Yeah.
We'll find out, obviously, what happens coming up on Saturday after the USC Notre Dame game, the fate of the team that UCLA beat, that being the Trojans. Unless a miracle comes, Keith, they're not beating Notre Dame.
Nope.
I know. Shocker to everybody. Coming up on the other side, we'll check in with Andre Berto, chat with him about Thanksgiving, everything else that's going on in his career inside and outside the ring. It's Behind the Mic, KABC Radio. Welcome back Behind the Mic here on KABC Radio. Brad Dallas along with Keith Jackson on this Thanksgiving night, joined by Mr. Andre Berto, now, of course, the champ, the boxer himself, joins us here on the program. Andre, great to have you aboard. How you doing tonight, man?
How you doing, man? Everything's good. Can't complain.
Awesome. Happy Thanksgiving to you. How much turkey did you eat today? How much turkey?
Man, I've been eating all types of stuff, but I really like waiting right until Thanksgiving to really get crazy. So, trying to save it all up and just so I can let loose come Thursday.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. So, Champ, tell me about this. You do a turkey giving every year, and tell me about the turkey that you guys kind of hand out. I know recently you've done it before with Beyonce and Seven. Those are your people, as people don't know. He's really close to them, and I know many more get involved. But tell me what you guys typically do in the community with that.
Pretty much we every Thanksgiving, we have our Andre Berto, turkey weekend. So come, actually tomorrow at the Winhaven Recreational Center, we pass out turkey that we feed, over 200 families, every year for Thanksgiving. Like on that Wednesday, before Thanksgiving, and Friday, we have a big celebrity, bowling event. Charity bowling event for the city. So we have a lot of people come out. Of course, like Tracy McGrady and Mario Stoudemire, Seven Streeter. We got a few other celebrities that always pass by. And just to bring that awareness, and just to bring that love back to the city. And then come Saturday is our Turkey Bowl football game, which the last few years, me and Tracy McGrady, we've been battling.
I was about to say.
I'll bring a team, and he brings his team, and we go at it. We were going at it every year, but this year we're just switching up a little bit, and we're putting teams together from each surrounding city, like in our county, and pretty much been just going to go at each other on Saturday, and the best team wins. They have bragging rights for the rest of the year.
Is there a sense of pride when you see other athletes like yourself, Andre, around Thanksgiving time, the holidays, just doing good in the community, trying to help other people out who are maybe less fortunate. Is there a real sense of pride when you see not only yourself or people you know, but just all other kind of people in the sports community really trying to do the best they can for everybody?
Yeah, for sure. I believe it. I believe that's how it's supposed to be. We've just been blessed to be able to to make it out, with our talents and be able to just display it in front of the world. And I believe it's just the best feeling to be able to come back home, the town and the city that have, basically made us and really, just help us grow up and just develop to be the people that we are, to come back and give back and just to see, our impact, on the people that we grew up with in the city that we came from. I think it's just tremendous.
Hey, Champ, and ask me this because you guys, you have your flag football game, Tracy McGrady and yourself. So if you can play another sport right now, what is your expertise in football right now? What are you, a wide receiver, running back? What is Tracy McGrady?
If it wouldn't have been boxing, it probably would have been football. I played football through high school. When I was always, one of the top running backs in the state. But, I was boxing, I was running track too, and I just did everything. And just that Olympic Games just came first for me. I just really fell in love with just the sport of boxing, so I just took that route. And, definitely just excelled. But Tracy, like I said, when it comes to him in these games, man, he takes it so seriously. Like we literally, talk shit to each other like throughout the year. Just tell each other we better be ready. You better be ready. I'm taking that trophy this year. Like, and he's a lot of people don't know, man. Like he's just an all around tremendous athlete. He plays quarterback for his team every year, and he has an arm on him, something serious.
Who you compare him to? What athlete? What quarterback right now?
Man, he's man, I used to call him back in the day. I used to call him like a Donovan McNabb back in the day. But he has a vicious arm. Yeah, he got a nice arm on him.
Could he still play today? Could he still play some basketball, do you think?
Oh, yeah. I know his situation on why he retired. Of course, he had a lot of back spasms that kind of, led him to retirement. But, like I said, he still stays in shape. And when he comes every year for Turkey Bowl, man, he's ready. So I know he works out and just really prepares for this thing, man. He definitely can still move. He definitely has an arm on him. He's just an athlete, bro. He's a real athlete.
We're talking with Andre Berto here on Behind the Mic, KABC Radio. We heard you got a new addition to the family here recently, Andre. So we know you're busy outside of the ring, in the ring. It doesn't matter, 24/7 now, right?
Yeah, man, doesn't matter right now, man. I mean, the big news went out yesterday, and everything's been buzzing. Like the place's been buzzing now since he made the announcement yesterday. So yeah, I got a little one on the way.
Hey, so Champ, so what's going on with the boxing situation then? Are you taking like a little hiatus right now until the baby comes and kind of just be there for your companion right now, or what's going on with that?
Right now, I just have a lot of different things. I just have a lot of different things on my plate right now for sure. Some great things. I may hold off until baby comes, but baby comes in February. Mm-hmm. So so it's not too far off. So we'll see after that.
Are you still going to be training, like in terms of boxing wise, or staying in shape?
I'm always staying in shape year round for sure. So we're in talks to some things. Okay. Al, he just did the big deal with Fox. So we're definitely getting a lot of the. We just got finished doing a lot of the, some of the auditions and the work for Fox when it comes to in-studio work as well. So,
that's awesome.
We're going to be busy doing a lot of different things, but of course they want me to step back in that ring too, so we'll see.
What do you think about some of these fights coming up here pretty soon, Andre? Talking about specifically Manny Pacquiao, Adrian Broner, excuse me. Your thoughts on that? Also, you got Tyson Fury coming up as well, Deontay Wilder. What do you think about some of these fights?
Man, I think some of the fights right now are just going to be tremendous. You got the Broner Pacquiao fight. Of course, they're going to bring a lot of hype to the table, and of course, it's for me, it's up in the air. I mean, of course, everybody has Pacquiao winning pretty easily. Mm-hmm. It just depends on what Broner comes and tries to show up. If he tries to stay there and stay flat-footed and just stay stuck on that canvas, Manny Pacquiao can, he's going to be able to box circles around him. But, but if he comes that old vintage, vintage AB, it might be a different story. So, and that Tyson Fury fight, I'm excited about because I've been telling people, and for some reason I believe this fight would be a tougher fight for Deontay Wilder than the Anthony Joshua fight for some reason. I really believe so. Tyson Fury, he has a lot to his game. He can move, pretty well. He can move pretty awkward. He punches awkward. He's long. He's tall. He has a lot of different things to his game that can make it difficult for Deontay. But I still have Deontay winning. You got Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia.
Yeah, what is your thoughts on that, champ? Because I'm sorry to interrupt you on that, but what is your really thoughts on that? Do you think Errol Spence, and I know you guys you know these guys very well, but do you think Errol Spence should be fighting someone different than Mikey Garcia? I'm not taking nothing away from Mikey Garcia, but I'm just saying Keith Thurman.
Of course, he's been begging for that Keith Thurman fight for a while, and obviously, it hasn't happened, and I believe that Keith really wants to. He's been off for 2 years, and he's just getting back, so he wants to be really prepared to even try to step in there with Spence because he knows what type of threat he is. But for some reason, man, I think I seen Mikey, last week at the Fox situation, and he's coming up in weight, and he's going to Errol's hometown. So it's like he's giving up a lot. He really does not give two shits right now, and I believe it's because he really sees a weakness. He really sees, something that he can expose, when it comes to Errol. Because like I said, right now Mike Garcia is very confident. And he's undefeated. And I've been to some of his gym, situations, and he's been sparring big guys his whole career. Now, he's been sparring the Maidanas and other big guys for a long time, so it's not going to be anything new for him. But for some reason, I feel that, he's just going in there so confident, think that he's really going to expose something. He really sees something. So I believe that's why he's taking this fight at this magnitude, going up in weight, fighting Earl in his hometown, because I believe that he really feels that he has the tools to expose him. I think it's something there.
Yeah, the theme of tonight's show here, Andre, is what are we thankful for this year in sports? And as far as the boxing world goes, we've been talking about some of those fights coming up, but maybe something else that we haven't covered yet that, kind of stood out to you from this past year in 2018, or maybe what you're looking forward to in 2019.
I'm looking forward to 2019. 2019 is just going to be, I believe, all the way around the board in boxing, and of course, in life with me, I'm a new dad, of course, and got a lot of other big business deals that are on the way, I think it's just a lot of things just going to come about. So I'm just looking forward to everything, business-wise, boxing-wise, and life in general, man. It's going to be a good year.
Hey, Champ, just before we go real quick, I want to ask you this real fast. I saw this on a report that and TMZ had reported. It was Michael B. Jordan. They got him a few weeks out, and he had said that, he thinks if there's one guy he can hang with, it would be Roy Jones Jr. He said he couldn't do it in his heyday, but right now, Roy Jones Jr., he can get him. So Roy Jones came back and said, let's make that happen. Your assessment, can Michael B. Jordan, because I know you know the guy, could he hang with Roy Jones Jr. right now?
You know what? I know Mike B for a while. I need to see how his training is looking like, but the Roy now, he probably be able to be all right with. He probably can be able to hang with a little bit, but of course, Roy in his prime now, he couldn't even go in the dressing room against Roy in his prime.
I love it.
But right now,
with the training with the movie,
he's been doing a lot of training with his movie coming up, and like Roy is a little older now, and skills have diminished a little bit. So of course, I believe that he believes that he's confident enough to hang with Roy and try to clip Roy, or whatever the case may be. But Well, yeah, I think it'll be a nice little matchup now.
Who you going with if that ever happened?
Or like one with now. I mean, I'm good friends with both of them. I can't even say what I'm going with. To be realistic, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I love it. The great Andre Bertle joining us here on Behind the Mic. Follow him on Twitter at Andre Bertle. Man, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Man, no problem, boss.
Thanks, champ. Take care.
Yep.
A quick break, and we're back after this. There it is, the final countdown. Of course, we're counting down now to the match itself between Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. And joining us now on the line from Fansided.com is Luke Norris to break down this big match, highly anticipated match tomorrow happening over in Las Vegas. Luke, thanks for joining us, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. It's really good to be back.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is one of those things where people now have something else to do on Black Friday. Keith and I were talking about this before the break here. And basically, look, if you're not a big Black Friday shopper, if you maybe just want to check out college football, whatever's happening on the sports scene, in addition to the college circuit, you've also got this match if you're willing to pay for it on pay-per-view. And I'm just kind of curious to get your take on, we've seen a little bit, obviously, in the media this week about these two and just kind of general promotion of it. But the pay-per-view aspect of it itself, do you think that's one of the reasons why maybe some people are just kind of maybe hearing about it now or being reminded about it for the first time in a while here, listening to us tonight? Your take on the whole pay-per-view angle of this and maybe why they chose to go down that route?
Well, it's certainly something different. This is unprecedented in the golf world. I mean, this is the first time in history that golf has put on a pay-per-view event. Back in the day, we saw these matches, these one-on-one kind of made-for-TV spectacles, if you want to call it that, before. I was at with the Battle of Bighorn with Tiger and Sergio, where they had the lights and everything. And this is something completely different. And there has been hype on it some, if you're paying for premium channels anyway. HBO has done their 24/7 series on this, which they usually save for boxing. But this is obviously a different kind of one-on-one thing. This is the two biggest names in the golf world in the past quarter century, and honestly, just two of the biggest names of all time. And I think what this week is doing, it's kind of slow time in golf. You've got all the college football going. We're right smack dab in the middle of the NFL season. And so, there's not a ton of attention on golf right now. And so I think that's part of why it hasn't been hyped as much. And a lot of people aren't going to pay $20 for this. You gotta, you still gotta, have that $20 sitting waiting for something to buy on Black Friday, right?
Yeah,
no question.
So Phil, do you think that?
No, it's crazy. It is something different. And I don't think this will be the last one with a lot of the names they have out there. And just the way that golf is right now, I think this is just kind of testing to see who will do that. And honestly, if there's $9 million on the line here, okay, Tiger and Phil, they're going to bet. And we'll get into some of the side bets, I'm sure, here in a minute, but they're not putting up $9 million of their own money. So that $9 million's got to come from somewhere, and they're just going to see how much of that comes from us.
Luke, do you think that they would do a lot more after this one? You see this you said this is really like the first time them doing something like this. Do you think a lot more matches will happen like this in the game of golf? Do you think you'll start possibly see like, Rory McIlroy playing against a top contender as well?
I think you could. I think I just think just the overall reaction to how this goes is going to play a part in it. Mm-hmm. You got a lot of these guys out there right now are kind of buddy. Whereas Tiger and Phil for so long were not. And I think that is a part of what this is that you're seeing a side of these guys that, and especially on Tiger's end, Phil's usually a little more outgoing and all that with the media, whereas Tiger isn't. Tiger's going to be mic'd up and, not a lot of people around, which is why he how he likes things. I mean, his yacht's called Privacy, for goodness sake.
It's always been ironic, yeah.
Oh, yeah, very. And so, no, I mean, I think it really all just depends on how this goes. I mean, this could, being a match play thing, I mean, this thing may not even go 18 holes, so we don't know how much golf we're actually going to get. It could be boring as could be. We don't know. I wouldn't expect that from these guys. Mm-hmm. I think there is going to be some talk and some chatter out there, but these guys are still competitors. They want to win. So I mean, they're going to be getting down to business while also still trying to entertain. I'm just like everyone else. I'm very curious just to see how all of this plays out.
Luke Norris joining us from Fansided.com here on Behind the Mic. What do we know, Luke, about Shadow Creek Golf Course and why that particular course was selected for this match?
People don't know a ton about this place. It's very private. I mean, it's out in Vegas, and I mean, you've got to have some serious bucks to be a part of this thing. It's aesthetically it looks good from everything I've researched and seen, but not a lot of people are familiar with it, myself included. I mean, you can only look at so many pictures and, read so many things, but I'm looking forward to just seeing this golf course. And I don't know exactly the reason. I know they wanted to stay out west because they didn't want to do the lights. And, I mean, especially on a holiday weekend, they didn't want to do the prime time, which, those ones in the past with Tiger were, like him and Sergio, and I think he did it with Duval as well. And they wanted to stay away from prime time, so that's why they had to pick out west. And Vegas is a central part of this. With the recent, legalization, of sports gambling and things like that, where more and more states are going to start doing this. I think what we're talking about, Keith, like with some of these matches in the future, they want to see how this betting thing goes. I mean, they've got all these kind of prop bets and side bets. I mean, the things that you can find if you go looking to bet on for this, not just who wins or who loses, but does Tiger hit the fairway in the first hole? Just
probably
some of the
not.
Ones, I don't know how many,
Right. If I was betting on that one, I would say probably not. Yeah. We love Tiger here on the program, but chances are he's probably not hitting the fairway on number one. But I would be willing to bet though if he doesn't if he doesn't hit the fairway, course, I'd be willing to bet that his recovery shot would probably go within 10 feet of the cup because that's what he does.
Right. That is, this kind of a thing. But but some of these things, it's just. That's like just even looking at some of the ones I have here. Like who hits the longest drive on number 4? Well, either player drive the green on hole 11. It's a shorter hole. Most birdies, eagles, hole-in-ones. Is anybody 3-putting? Are we seeing this Mickelson U.S. Open putting meltdown? How many times does Tiger make this bet? How many overall side bets? What is the largest side bet going to be? We already know just from what was that, Tuesday night, I think. It was Phil baited Tiger into a $200,000 side bet already on if he can birdie the first hole. So this thing is going to get crazy. And I think as we got closer, as the week goes on, people are talking about it more and more and more. And I think more people are going to watch just because of some of the things that are getting out there. And if Mickelson goes into public and says, hey, I'm going to throw this $100 or $100,000 thing out there. The quote was, I think you don't have to take it. You don't have to take it at all, but I'm throwing that out there. You think Tiger Woods is going to back down from that?
Never.
No. I think the action, especially just as it goes along, especially if one of these guys starts dominating, if Tiger takes a 2-up lead, just even in the first few holes, you don't think he's going to start getting after Phil? It's, and one of the great things about this is, so much of this money is going to the charity of the winner's choice and, things like that. And that's phenomenal. Both these guys are heavily involved in charity work with their foundations and things. And,
If this is successful, Luke, do you think maybe the PGA Tour will get back to some of those old school skin games they used to do from '83 until about 2008?
Oh, you're talking about, what was it, the Shell? The
Yes.
Shell Wonderful World of Golf and things like that. And
do you think the
I mean,
PGA wants to get back to that?
Remember every Thanksgiving they had the skins games? Those were great, too.
That's what I'm saying. I know. I think there would definitely be an audience for it.
Oh, sure. I mean, I used to love watching those. Fred Couples was always involved in those. No, those were really fun. I think, I think if this does well, that they would consider doing something like that. And I don't think it's something that they could do too often, asking people to shell out $20 for this or that. But I mean, if you get something, like a 4-person skins game, if you've got Rory and let's say like Tiger and DJ and guys like that, then your hardcore fans are going to tune in for that, just to kind of see what happens, I think.
So, look, let me ask you, who do you think is going to win this match coming up tomorrow? I mean, in your take, Tiger's been playing pretty well lately. Phil, not so much right now, but you never know. These two matchups, they go hand in hand. It's a different story. It's like like playoffs, so to speak. You know what I mean? So, So who do you think is going to win this match?
And that's the beauty of match play or just golf. I mean, you could have the number one ranked player in the world can go out any day and shoot a 76.
Mm-hmm.
And, all these guys on tour are capable of going low at any time. And these guys, I mean, have gone low for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Tiger is the heavy favorite. And if I did have any money on it, I certainly would go that direction. I think his game's in better shape. He's had a little bit longer of a layoff. Phil did sneak in a tournament in there at the Safeway, but if I had to predict, I'd say Tiger maybe 3-2.
Mm.
There we go.
That's a good
It's going to be close.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
Once again, we're joined by Luke Norris here on Behind the Mic from Fansided.com. Hang tight, Luke. We're going to get back to you on the other side, get into some of those prop bets. Keep it tuned right here Behind the Mic on KBC Radio. Welcome back Behind the Mic here on KBC Radio. Brad and Keith taking you up into the top of the hour. We bring back in now Luke Norris from Fansided.com, breaking down the match tomorrow between Tiger and Phil out in Las Vegas. And Luke, talking about now some of these prop bets that are currently going on, and just generally speaking, the first one I think would be, we could touch on the amount of the largest side bet, because this one is well over at this point, because the original was set at 50,000 over under.
Right.
And they obviously went way over that today with 200K. Your thought on that one, number one, did you think we'd see something that high?
With those guys, yeah. I mean, you got to think that these are guys that have made, over 200, combined over $200 million in their careers, and that's just on the golf course. So I mean, that's them throwing pennies at each other. That's your $5 Sandy, at your local muni for these guys. No, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, once especially once we get on to the golf course, I think it's going to get higher. I really do. I don't know if I'd say as high as maybe $1 million or something like that, but $500,000 wouldn't shock me.
$500,000, Luke?
Well, we're already at 200K.
Whoa!
It would not shock me.
Wow, that's. Well, I'm afraid to get it. Go ahead and get a bet.
How about the total number of times Tiger will twirl his golf club? Over under
that
3.5. Are you taking the over or under on 3.5?
3.5 right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There it is. Yeah, 3.5 over. I'd take the over.
I'd say that's safe.
Because if he hits, well, it depends on how many fairways he's hitting.
That's true. That's true.
Because that's usually the more popular one is with that driver.
Here,
so no, I'd take the over on that.
Here's a straight up bet right here. Does Tiger wear red and black on the golf course? this upcoming Saturday.
Well, see, they're playing on Friday technically,
Friday.
I guess.
Well,
so
Friday,
it's
does
not
he-
Sunday. So,
Yeah,
but does he make a
Sunday
special
close, but
exception?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's done that before because he's done that on Monday. Like when that Monday playoff at the at the '08 U.S. Open.
That's true.
He still wears red there. It's more of a
Good
final
point.
round color as far as just a Sunday color. But with there being no rounds, it's being one round.
Exactly.
Probably whatever Nike tells him to do.
I'm going to say no.
I'm betting. I think he wears red and black.
You do.
I think he wears red and black. This is, you know why? Because guys, this is like the final round. This is the final round of the game right here that he's playing right now. This is only one. It's a matchup 1-on-1. Tiger wears red and black.
But it's
Bet
really
that.
it's really a glorified exhibition.
It doesn't matter. These guys right here. These guys, like you said, like Luke said earlier, these guys historically don't like each other. They didn't like each other, and so
Speaking of that, where do you think the relationship is at? As far as best what you can gauge, everyone's got a different opinion on it this time, but from what you've kind of seen, Luke, here, especially recently, it seems like they're pretty cordial. There's some jokes being
is,
exchanged.
yeah.
What's your take on that at the moment?
No, I think it's been fun to watch. I mean, like you see him, well, nobody was happy with the Ryder Cup this year, but they got some practice rounds in at Augusta earlier this year, and just even the fact that they're doing this. Yeah, I know there's money involved and they want to get after each other, but I mean, they're making a lot of jokes, and I think both want to win, but I think it's obviously much better than it was even 10 years ago. Where it almost seemed like whether they couldn't even just stand to be around one another.
yeah.
They'd get along at Ryder Cups or President's Cups, but I mean, there's always that tension. I mean, but that's what you get when you get the two top guys in a sport, which these guys were for so long in the game of golf before this young generation kind of overtook and Tiger got hurt and all of that. So I think it's cordial. I think they'll have some fun with one another, and I'll tell you what, though, some of the stuff on that 24/7, I don't know if you guys watched that or not. Just some of the stories out there were just fantastic. Did you guys hear the one involving Tony Romo?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. That was hilarious how Phil played with Tiger's mind that way. That was too funny. That was one of the best
just
ones.
that, and then talking about having to put the the green jackets on one another. So Phil wins his first major in '04, and then Tiger comes back in '05. That was the year with the chip in on 16, and
Of course.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, so Phil's having to put the jacket on him, and Tiger just kind of shrugging and moving his shoulders enough to just make it go longer. And Phil remembers all of that, and then they asked Tiger about having to do it the next year because Phil wins in '06, and then Tiger just says, "No, I don't remember any of that."
That's true. They did it
Classic
basically. It was back-to-back years, right?
Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Just classic Tiger Woods. Yeah. It was Phil in '04, then Tiger in '05, and then
3 years
then
in a
Phil
row.
again in '06.
Let me
It's crazy. Then just these two have just had such a long history with one another. I mean, and honestly, it feels like they should have played together more over. Because the first time they played was the final round of the '97 PGA Championship, and it's only been in 21 years they've only been paired together 37 times.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Seems like
fascinating.
it seems like it should be so much more. And Tiger does hold the overall edge. It's 18 for Tiger, 15 for Phil, and then four ties. But it's crazy though. In that time span, in those 37 rounds, you're talking more than 5,000 strokes taken.
Jeez.
I actually did the math on this when I was putting put together for fans said it as like this little tail of the tape, and it was like the full history, like every round and all that stuff. So sorry, cheap plug, but yeah, people go check that out. Over 5,000 shots. The difference in strokes is 20.
Wow, that's pretty close.
That is amazing.
Tiger has taken 2,579 strokes in these rounds. Phil has taken 2,599 strokes. It's that close.
Wow, that's insane. But let me ask you this: if this goes down to the wire, in terms of the rounds, when we going to start, they're going to play around with each other at first and have fun. But when are you going to start seeing more of a intense type of game, a more focused, zoned in type of game? Is it going to be that back nine or the last round? Do you think that's where you're going to start to see, okay, these guys are really battling now? Or is this kind of...
that's a great question. I mean, it's kind of like watching Keith. I mean, it's you know how it gets sometimes in something like the NBA All-Star game?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's fun, but you get in those last, 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And, you remember a few years back when Kobe got that look on his face.
Exactly.
It's like, all right, LeBron, we're going now. So, no, I think if it's close, once you get to 13, 14, 15, I mean, where every shot is really going to count. That's probably, I'd say somewhere in there, like the 14th or 15th, where it's like I said, they want to get out there and I think have a little fun with this, but they both want to win, and things are going to get serious if it's close.
Will there be a hole in one?
No.
I don't think so neither.
I
can't see it. I can't see
as
it.
much as we'd love to see it, right?
Hard.
Probably not so much. By the way,
no.
So we talked about Tiger, which color shirt he potentially could wear. How about Phil? What do you think for Phil? White.
Well, did you see all the options for Phil?
Yeah, white, black, blue.
Black, white, blue, green, red.
Has Phil ever worn red? Has he ever worn red?
That would be good if he wears red to play mind games with Tiger.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. He won't do it.
Right.
That would be great. I think he's going white.
Now that you guys mentioned that, I don't
think he's ever not in public, not for a public official round, practice round, nothing.
He's always got black or white or one of those weird long sleeve ones on.
Yeah.
Maybe burgundy.
I think he may. Just for the whole Thanksgiving. I think he wears black, though. I think he wears black. I think he's going to wear black.
In Vegas, you don't want to wear black in Vegas.
Yeah, but it's not hot. It's not hot, Luke. It's cold out there.
It's more comfortable. It's more comfortable now in November.
That's true.
Follow him at the Luke Norris on Twitter, fansided.com. Hey, Luke, thanks so much, man. We appreciate it so much. We're all looking forward to this match tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Once again, happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, and thanks for joining us here on the show.
All right, happy Thanksgiving to you guys as well. We'll talk again soon. Thanks.
Take care, Luke.
Thanks, Luke. There he goes. Once again, Luke Norris here on Behind the Mic. Always great to chat with him. Real quick, Keith, before we kind of say a final goodbye here, quickly on Saturday's game between USC and Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
Look, I mean, is there any shot whatsoever that this could be even remotely a contest? I don't think so. I think this is as easy of a game to predict as you're ever going to see.
Yeah, this is Notre Dame's game to win. As the old saying goes, can pigs fly? I think not. So that means USC is not winning against Notre Dame. I'm sorry. Clay Helton, that's it. Last game of the season, man. That's it. You're done. It's over.
Yeah, it's over now, right? I think we'd all be shocked, right? If he's still the coach come next Monday.
Yeah.
Just can't see it.
I don't know. Does he even make it before Saturday?
Oh, he'll coach. He'll coach the game on Saturday.
Yeah, he'll coach.
He'll coach the game on Saturday. They'll give him through Sunday. They'll come back. Apparently, him and Lynn Swann meet every Monday. They break bread, evidently, and we'll see what goes down next Monday.
That Monday.
Hey, that's it for tonight here on the show. Big thanks once again to Andre Berto and Luke Norris, fansided.com, for joining us tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Thanksgiving once again, everybody. For Keith, I'm Brad. Keep living the dream. We'll talk to you next time. Hey, thanks for checking out Behind the Mic with Brad Dalius. Be sure to like this video and subscribe. Hit that bell as well to get all of our notifications to stay up to date with everything we're putting out there. Thanks for checking in.